Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your girl JoJo, and I'm here with the review for Love Goals Season 1, Episode 7. I know. I know this review is several days late and very much a dollar short, but I didn't get to do the review on last week, and I did not want to let another week roll by without me doing a review for Love Goals. So I decided to do the video today. I know a lot of people won't watch it, probably won't get the same amount of comments, but I still want to hear you guys' thoughts on the episode and the show and what you guys felt about it, even though I know it came on Saturday. So if you can remember what happened, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I am at home today having me a little self-care day. You guys know I'm out of work since the pandemic, and I was out yesterday doing deliveries for Shipt and DoorDash, which I was doing before the pandemic. I worked both of those as side jobs before the pandemic. But yeah, it was just really slow. I knew there was going to come a time where that happened, and they were going to hire extra people to do delivery work since so many people were in need. And I think that time came late last week. I could start to feel the difference, which it's no problem because people need their things and people are out of work. So we're all out here trying to get money. So, you know, it just kind of is what it is. It's going to have to be enough for everybody right now. And I expected that to happen. But yesterday was a complete waste. So I just went ahead and quit early. And I decided today, you know, I'm going to sit back, let everybody get their money, and I'm going to just stay home today. So I stayed home on today and decided to do this review. So y'all, excuse the Tina Turner arms. I was looking at myself on the camera and I was like, I'm looking real buff about the arms. I promise y'all in person, my arms are not this big looking to me, but on camera, it looked like I really been, you know, I could really bust somebody up, but I can't, y'all. I'm not a fighter, but I have been doing my daily push-ups, so I guess they paying off because I'm looking real strong. But anyway, you guys, yeah, so let's talk about the episode. So this episode was like the hold each other accountable episode, which I had no problem with. I actually thought it was a really good idea because I feel like in general, there's not enough accountability in the world, okay? Human interactions, daily interactions, you'll find that a lot of people don't do good with taking accountability for things. We see it at work, we see it in relationships, we see it in our families. So I had no problem with this episode being the basis of what they were doing, holding each other accountable. Of course, I saw a lot of people bringing up the community, the black community with accountability and all that. And that's true, but I just think in general, I've seen across the board that there are a lot of people of all races, all religions, all genders, because you know it's a couple genders out now, have problems with accountability. So yeah, I had no problem with this episode being about that. So we get into some initial observations that I made during the show. One of them was that Teresa and Dwayne cannot seem to keep their hands off each other in this house. Have y'all noticed that? Mostly Teresa, but really the two of them. They're always all up on each other. They always cuddling. She always touching on them. And I really think it's because they don't get to do that kind of stuff at home because it's either the kids or the homeboys is there. So this is when she can fully have Dwayne's attention. So I think it's actually kind of cute. And then I also noticed that Althea tried it with that shirt. Okay, now y'all, I have also, you know, even though I'm not a big girl, I have a middle area that can get real tricky. And for that reason, you got to be very careful what kind of shirts you decide to put on. You know, that whole high waist trick only worked for so long. And it works well when you're standing up. But when you sit down, the meat got to go somewhere. And Althea, you tried it. You tried it. But that's okay, girl. The camera just caught you at that angle that you didn't need to be at, okay? But that's all right. Happens to the best of us, okay? So anyway, let's talk about who has shown up the least during the process. That's the thing that Dr. Spirit wants to know. So, we have two people who say Sunday, okay, Coolio. Now, did Coolio spell Sunday wrong, or does he just have funny handwriting? Because it looked like Sun Daddy, anyway, Sunday. He says he feels like he has heard the least from her. She doesn't talk much, so he just feels like she's contributed the least. He chose her. And Spinderella chose Sunday because, no offense, okay, she says to Sunday, but it seems like she has certain ways about her and certain tactics that she uses to shut down, and she feels like in the process she is shutting herself off from having the love that she deserves. And y'all know Sunday, oh, I'm shutting myself off from love. I'm shutting myself off. Okay. The same way that you shut yourself down. And Spinderella said yes, and that's why I recognize it. See, Sunday, you wasn't expecting that, and I wasn't. And then she says, okay, I'll take it into consideration. How was my Sunday voice? I be trying to mimic her. I actually like her little Philly accent. So Sunday doesn't really appreciate people mentioning her name. She doesn't take it all that well, but she at least tries to take it well from Spin, and I just think because she respects her. Then we move on. Okay, Mimi says Coolio, and I can understand why Mimi would say Coolio, because Coolio's very, like, he's very, not flippant. I just think he has a way about him that comes off as he doesn't care, but I just think that's his natural personality. Like, oh, yeah, whatever. Okay, yeah, whatever. I went through it, and that's just what I had to do. That's what I had to go through. I'm me. Okay, and it don't matter. Everything just seems very, like, puh to him. So she feels like he hasn't shown up in the process all that much. Then we hear from Teresa. She says Benzino. Teresa says that she chose Benzino because of his attitude, how sometimes he doesn't want to talk, and she feels like he's very selfish throughout the process because he makes things about him. Sunday also says Benzino because she says that he has temper tantrums. He's always walking off, which Sunday has walked off a few times herself. But we're going to talk about Sunday and Benzino in just a moment. And surprisingly enough, Sunday's man, Breon, also says Benzino. Now, I was shocked by this because Benzino, if y'all remember some episodes back, was the one that had Breon's back. Okay, when he was doing all that arguing with Sunday about her man. Okay, Benzino was leading the charge for the brothers in taking up for Breon. So I was like, oh, Breon, he had your back. And not only did Breon say that he was the one that had the problem, but he also said, he's always huffing and puffing and carrying around, girl stuff. Excuse me? Okay, now why we have to get the rocks thrown at us? Now why you throwing us in it? And even Dr. Spears, she handled it so well. She was just like, really? Girl stuff? Okay, you get a little mark on your stereotypical card. I said, yeah, Dr. Spirit. Go ahead and give it to Breon. Breon's been giving me since day one the type of dude that say females every time he talk about women. These females, FEE-MALES. Y'all be on the lookout for that. It's the females, okay? Not females. The females. I don't like either one. I don't like females, but when you say females with emphasis, I'm always looking like, okay, what we about to get out of you? Or is some BS about to come out your mouth? But yeah, Breon gives me that. And so Benzino didn't name anybody, which I think that was another reason why Benzino ended up getting pissed off, because here he was not naming anybody, saying he didn't want to judge, saying it wasn't his business, but everybody felt the need to name him. That's why you should have went ahead and put your name, Benzino. Althea had put Benzino's name, but then she changed her mind because she knew that they were trying to get along and she just didn't want to ruffle any feathers. Now, I'm going to say a couple of things. Number one, nobody felt the need to put Althea's name on there because I would have. Okay, I would have put Althea's name. And I would have put Benzino's name. Like, they would have been mad at me because I would have been like, oh, I got two. I got two. But Althea would have been my first one because I feel like Althea doesn't really offer anything to the process at all. She's always sitting back smirking. If she doesn't decide to provoke Benzino, she don't say nothing. She'll be like, oh, I'm not going through that. Oh, I don't have problems with that. Oh, that's not my issue. Or I don't have anything to say about that. She's definitely done that. Benzino's problem is that sometimes he overshares and does a little bit too much. So it's just like, just as much as Althea is flippant about a lot of the stuff on the show, Benzino is overly passionate and overly aggressive. You would think they would balance each other out, but they don't. They're just terrible for each other. I mean, goodness gracious. I'm surprised they lasted as long as they did. So, yeah, I was just surprised that nobody put her name down. But anyway, moving on. Benzino takes it as a personal attack. Benzino didn't appreciate people saying these things to him because he didn't say anything about anybody else. He doesn't care what they think. They're only going to be on here with them for another 5 days. Why are they all in his business? They need to be worried about their own problems. Well, they're not really in your business, Benzino. This was a part of the exercise. Now, you chose not to participate in it by not writing a name down. That's on you. You should have wrote a name, bruh. But he didn't write a name. Instead, everybody else did write down his name. And he's pissed about that. We didn't get to see what Dwayne and did we see Dwayne's answer? Did he put Benzino? Either way, I don't think we saw Dwayne or Q's answer. I don't think. But Benzino's pissed. He feels like they are talking down to him. And at first, I will say the initial comments made about Benzino, I don't think were all that bad. That was just people telling what spots they didn't feel like Benzino showed up in. But then, to me, it did start to get ugly, rude, and it did feel attackish. And most of it was coming from the Sunday crew. Now, I want to ask y'all this. What's this back and forth banter that Sunday and Benzino keep having? What is it about? Because I said a couple of episodes ago, why are these two always getting into it? Why does it always seem like they're having a lot of back and forth? If I was Sunday's man, I would be looking her up and down like, why you always saying something to him? Why y'all always going at it? And if I was out there, I'd be asking Benzino, do you want Sunday? Because it seemed like y'all always got something to say to each other, and I'm starting to believe it's sexual tension. What's up? So y'all tell me what y'all think about that. But Sunday starts talking about how he just brings something up in her. He triggers her because Dr. Spirit wanted to know why she felt the need to go off on him like that. Because they was going off on each other bad, y'all. I mean, completely throwing each other under the bus. Benzino told Breon, don't say nothing to me, especially not for her, bro. And what you mean not for me, Benzino? What do you mean not for me? Pay your child support. Pay your child support. You know, just childish. Very childish antics, very childish behavior. But I found it very funny that the things that Sunday was saying about Benzino were things that Sunday does herself. You know, having the tantrums, being very, I'm not going to talk about it, I don't feel like it, being like that. Sunday has also done a lot of those things. And Breon, I mean, I don't really know. I didn't have any problems initially with him picking Benzino's name, but saying that's girl stuff, now you coming for his manhood, and you a man, you know how that goes. You know they don't like that. So I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I could see why Benzino was getting a little bit agitated because some of this stuff just wasn't, some of it wasn't just pointing out he didn't take accountability. Some of it was very daggerish, especially once they got into the second part where him and Sunday began to argue. Then Teresa gets in on it. Benzino, you need to listen to me because I've talked to Althea, and Althea's a sweet girl, and I'm just like, now Teresa, you ain't known Althea long, but we done seen Althea since Love and Hip Hop and Y'all Fix My Life and all the in between. Her name should have went down on a sheet. I don't care what anybody says. Her name should have went down as well. But she's trying to have Althea's back and telling Benzino about himself as well. And the whole time she talking, Dwayne's sitting there like this. I mean, completely eyes glazed over, looking at a specific point. And ladies, if y'all got a man who is not a talker, okay, I have that type of man. And one thing I will say about them is that when they get to staring off into space and they looking off at nothing in particular, they about to blow. You need to get them somewhere. And so that's how Dwayne was looking. I was just like, uh-oh. And Teresa is continuing to go back and forth with Benzino. They're arguing. Benzino can't take it no more. He don't appreciate it. It's F everybody. It's F Dr. Spirit because you're letting them attack me. Dr. Spirit was trying to get control of the room. I don't feel like she was doing a good job in that, in trying to keep everybody else under control, trying to keep Benzino under control, but I know she's only one person. But as soon as they started to argue with him and started to add all this other stuff in, I would have shut them down immediately. Like, and she was trying, like, I'm not talking about what you think about Benzino at this point. I'm asking you, what in you is causing you to begin being triggered by what he does? Why? Why are you, Sunday? Why are you, Teresa, so triggered by what Benzino is doing? Because now it's just about it's about more than you holding him accountable. Now you all have some type of personal problem with him, but it says more about you. So what is it? And Sunday says she don't like the disrespectful tones, and Teresa says that when she sees, what did she say? When she feels like she's not being heard. Okay, that's fine. But all that other stuff y'all was saying, y'all could have left it, okay? That's not really a part of the exercise. So I got why he was feeling the way he was feeling. But the blow up was bad. And he was just like, I didn't say anything about anybody else. Again, that was your choice, because you should have put a name down. I still say he should have put a name down, even if it was Althea, because her name should have went on a sheet. But he goes outside, and Spinderella goes out there to talk to him, to try to get him to calm down and simmer down. And he's telling Spin how he felt like it was an attack, and he felt like some things weren't handled fairly. And I'm a little bit tired of Spinderella trying to be everybody's smooth auntie and counselor. That's not really her role. What happened to the helpers? What happened to the man that smiled like this? Okay, what happened to him? He could have went out there and talked to Benzino. But I got what Spin was trying to do. She was just trying to be there for him. Okay, cool. Then Dwayne says he need everybody help in figuring out how he stay calm when his woman is arguing with another man, because he know if he would have got up out of his seat, it would have been over. Teresa tells him, but I don't need him to do that for me. I don't need him to fight for me. I feel like girls can fight with girls and men can fight with men. Again, another shot at Benzino's manhood. Why? Why is this continuing to happen, and why is it being allowed? See, that's something I did have a problem with. Even though I don't appreciate Benzino's blow up, and the only reason I'm going to say I don't appreciate it is because Benzino's always blowing up. If this was his first time, that would be one thing. This is like his 25th on the show. So clearly, yes, he does have an issue with going off. But that doesn't give anybody the right to take shots at who somebody is as a man because of how he expresses his emotions. Let Dr. Spirit handle that. It's not for you to take shots. So I understood where Benzino was coming from with that. So when Teresa said that, I was just like, A, why would you say that? That's rude. And B, your man wants to defend your honor. That's what men do. If you want to protect your man, don't get into it with another man, period. No matter how that man is acting. If he is acting girly in your opinion, you don't do that. You don't do that if you really want to protect your man. And Teresa is going around the house trying to say that she's ready to go and she's worried about Dwayne. She felt like they were putting them in a position to possibly fight, because he does go out to talk to Benzino, but they end up having a fine conversation and they're good and it's no problems. But at the time, I guess Teresa didn't know that. So she's very anxious and very worried about what Dwayne is going to do. And Dr. Spirit asks her, why do you do that? Like, why? What are you trying to protect him from? Well, my husband is very violent and he can do this sometimes. I've never seen him have a conversation. He just, once he gets to that point, like Dwayne said, if he would have got up, it would have been over, right? And Dr. Spirit gets her to realize that, you don't need to continue to throw yourself in the line of fire because of what you think he's gonna do. Well, I just want to protect him and I love him and I don't want to lose him. See, this is the thing about Teresa. I've been riding with Teresa up until this episode. I think Teresa is putting on some type of front in her relationship. I don't believe that Dwayne, I think he knows Teresa, but I think she hides a lot of the things about herself that she feels like Dwayne would be uncomfortable with because she doesn't want to lose him. But girl, if that's your husband, he needs to know all sides of you. So one was the fact that he didn't know fully about the molestation she had experienced as a young girl. That's one thing, and the things that she was doing. So that's one thing that caused me to see that. This episode also caused me to see that Teresa has been complicit in the way that she's being treated by her husband. And that's something that we all have to own. Like when we're going through stuff, when you go through therapy and you talk about anything that you've experienced, they will ask you in what ways or what places were you complicit in the way that the relationship was being handled or in the way that you were being treated. And it's hard for a lot of people to admit because, again, a lot of us have problems with accountability. But Teresa's been participating in that because she takes things as hers and her ownership that she doesn't have to. And that's why Dwayne sees her as so strong and independent, because that's the face that she puts on for everything. Why are you rescuing Dwayne from having to go off on another man to the point where you trying to get on an earlier flight, when you really could have just shut it down by just not talking anymore? All right, because a man is going to defend your honor. That's what they do. And why would you want to stop him from doing that? See, when you continue to stop him from doing stuff, then he sits back and says, what? You got it. You got it, right? And you said you're tired of that. You said you're tired. You said you're worn out. You know, you said you're tired of him thinking that you can handle everything and you really can't. So you've been complicit in that by your behavior, because you step in areas where he tries to, right? So that was one thing I noticed about Teresa. But overall, I just feel like she's been putting on things in her relationship. She's kind of one of those women that, we do this a lot of times when we're young too. You fall in love and you see all of the stuff that a man wants, so you start trying to become those things, even at the detriment of your own identity. I feel like Teresa has done that. She's trying to be everything Dwayne wants her to be, but she's not even happy because she's not being herself. So it's just like, girl, you know, relinquish some of that. Quit throwing yourself in the line of fire where you don't belong, and allow Dwayne to be the man in your life. You are not your own man. Okay, if that's the case, you wouldn't need Dwayne. But allow him to be that in your life. If you want to be heard, say what you need to say, and then step back and let him show you. You don't step back. Okay, you've been complicit in that. So that's it. I still like you, girl. I still like you. I don't know why why does Teresa have that extra butt? I don't like it. It makes her look wobbly, but you know what? That's the body she chose, because I don't think it's 100% natural, but okay. That's all I got to say about her. Now, Benzino, he does end up having a one-on-one therapy session with Dr. Spirit. They get some stuff straight. He talks about how he felt. He says that he apologizes for making it seem like she didn't know how to do her job. He felt like it was directed towards him. He felt like it was shots. And Dr. Spirit even says, you know what, some of those things were not, it wasn't necessarily an attack on you, but I can see how it went there. She also says that Benzino is a person who really needs to be shown a little bit more love. And what else does she say? Says that she's concerned about him being depressed, concerned about him possibly having some PTSD. I don't know. Benzino is a likable person, but then he's unlikable as well. I cannot put my finger on what it is. It's like when he is one-on-one with somebody, he's very rational. But when he gets with the group and they start talking about stuff, it's like he just show out. It's weird. But yeah, she tells him that they need to work on a lot of things, and they're going to work on his healing. They end up bringing him and Althea's son because he says that he really misses him and he needs that to stay balanced. So seeing his son brightens up his day and they all get along well. And this is where you can really see that he is a good dad, and him and Althea do get along well when it comes to their son. Who else I have something to say about? As far as Sunday, to me, Sunday is, her and Benzino mirror each other, and maybe that's why she's so good at calling out Benzino's SHIT, because she does it herself. I think Sunday has a lot of childish ways about her. I think she's known to storm off as well, huff and puff as well, get in everybody's business as well, because why was she following Teresa around the house? Why was she in Teresa's counseling session with Dr. Spirit? Why are you here doing all of that? So yeah, I think they both mirror each other, and there's some type of tension between them that's weird. Y'all can let me know what y'all thought about the rest of the episode. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one. All right, bye-bye.